Welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. This is Justin.
Wyatt.
And Monty.
Tonight we're taking a look at the three Reynas. I believe it just means three daughters. As I understand, these are the three daughters of Jose Pepin Garcia. I think that's correct. I could be wrong, but I do believe it comes from the same factory. This is a beautiful, kind of a, very dark, not black, but very, very dark wrapper. It is a bellicoso or torpedo. Seams are done well, but you can tell it's a hand-rolled cigar. It's got a few little flaws and little nicks here and there, but nothing of major concern. As I said, it's a very dark wrapper, but there's got a few spotchy areas where it's a little bit lighter. But I mean, this is all hand-rolled cigar. You're going to find these things. But overall, very nice looking cigar. It's got a nice fine tooth to it. The aroma on this, I just get a nice, just kind of medium to rich tobacco. Not a lot off the wrapper, but off the foot, I get that nice rich tobacco, but a bit of like sweet tobacco or chocolate. It's actually very nice.
Yes, beautiful looking stick. Very, very oily. Pretty firm pack all the way through. Really nice squishy spots. Not even at the end of the cigar. As for aromas, I get a nice, like a dark chocolate and cedar type of smell on the wrapper. Kind of that dry wood type of smell. And then on the foot, definitely some dry coffee and almost sort of like a Turkish coffee. Really, really nice. Look forward to lighting this up.
Yeah, as the guy said, it's definitely a handmade cigar. Mine has a ton of veins running through it. Some of them are just really pronounced, but no big lumps, no soft spots. The cap is well done on this one. As far as aromas coming off the wrapper, I think Wyatt's right. I did pick up a little bit of cedar maybe, and off the foot, I get a lot of strong hay aroma. Just that, kind of a dry alfalfa hay and a little bit of sweetness.
Well, let's get it cut up, lit up, see how it goes.
We started the show, didn't we?
I also have to say it's great to be back here in the clubhouse. I have missed these chairs like you wouldn't believe.
Yes, we're in the clubhouse, is why it puts it.
Yeah.
My wife calls it the garage. It was raining here this evening, and it's kind of soaked the backyard.
It's the little things.
The clubhouse. I filled this thing up at the shop.
I gave you that. It worked forever for me.
I know. I can kill a lighter faster than killing a fly. Why is there another lighter in there?
I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised in that first puff. I was expecting a lot of really dry coffee and earth, but it's actually pretty creamy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's how oily the wrapper is.
Very thick, ample smoke. I get a lot of that. Yeah, nice rich tobacco. A bit of sweet, rich tobacco.
A little bit of pepper there on my tongue.
Not really super pronounced flavors, but you can definitely tell they're there.
It's not very potent. It's not very strong.
Yeah, I was expecting something really big.
Yeah. It's hovering around mild to medium for me. It's not. I mean, you can pick out the flavors, but they're not boom in your face.
It's a good start.
Well, unless there's anything else, let's get into the first third. See how it goes. Welcome back. We're about 10 minutes in. Cigar's performing well. It's not a razor sharp burn, but not needing a touch up yet. Got one little area that might if it doesn't correct itself soon. Ash is holding on very nice. Draws good. Really no issues. Flavor for me hasn't changed, but they've gotten a little more potent. It's a nice sweet tobacco, sweet rich tobacco really. Maybe a bit of coffee on the finish, but that's a very short finish for me right now. Overall, it's good, but it's not blowing my mind just yet. But it is very early into the cigar.
Yeah, I'm pretty much inclined to agree. It's good. You know, I haven't had a great burn, but again, no touch-ups. But the finish for me kind of goes flat really quickly. The finish isn't short per se, but it just kind of goes flat. There's not really much there after a few seconds. But overall, the flavors pretty much stayed the same for me. It's still that. I'd agree with the sweet tobacco mixed into some coffee and maybe a little bit of cedar, but the finish again doesn't last very long. So I'm kind of going off, you know, what I get in that puff. The retrohale is really smooth. So it's got that going for it. But yeah, nothing really blowing my mind yet.
I agree with what the guys were saying. The finish is sort of short for me, but overall the whole thing's pretty smooth. My burn is a little sketchy, but nothing worth correcting yet with a lighter. There's a little pepper at first, but man, it's gone away just almost completely now. But as far as flavors, there's a little bit of cedar, and I don't get much sweetness like Wyatt was mentioning, but a little bit of cedar, maybe a little coffee to it, but nothing real big and vibrant yet.
Well, let's get into the second, third, approach the midpoint, see if we get any changes. Well, welcome back. We're about halfway. So far, not much to update you on. It's keeping straight par for the course. No flavor change, no really build up in body or strength. It's hovering right around a mild to medium for me. Never had to do a touch up. Ash is still holding on. I mean, the cigar is performing really well for me. The smoke is very ample. It does. We mentioned it in the first draw, and I didn't really talk about it when we came back in the 10-minute mark. But it is, I don't want to say creamy, but it is very thick and ample. There's a lot of it. But really, other than that, there's no updates. It's a straight, very one-dimensional cigar for me. It's good, but it's at the end of your day, you kind of want something more complex, more in your face. This just doesn't really have it, but it's still a good cigar.
Yeah, overall I'd agree. To me, this cigar would probably be good for like a mid-afternoon type of cigar. It's too heavy for the morning. It's not like a golf course stick, but definitely this would be good for, you know, you just finished lunch, you got an hour to kill, no, you smoke a cigar. This would be good for that. Yeah, flavors haven't changed. My burn still isn't great. It's kind of Ving out, and I've fixed it up a couple of times, and it just doesn't look like it's going to change. So nothing really to complain about, but nothing really to update about either.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is a bad cigar by any means. It's just there's nothing really exciting, nothing complex or just real big and in your face about it. My burn's gotten off a couple more times, but just by kind of rotating the cigar a little bit, I've been able to correct it a lot. I'm not near as far on mine as the guys are, mainly because I just told a long-winded, very animated story. But the finish is still pretty short. But like what Justin was saying, lots of smoke, lots of thick, heavy smoke, but nothing really noteworthy so far. Just a real straightforward cigar.
Well, let's get into the final third, see if we get any changes. Welcome back. We're at the final third, approaching the nub point. I'd love to tell you that this cigar did a 180. It's full-bodied, lots of flavor, totally keeping my interest, but I would be lying to you. It's pretty much no flavor changes. Kind of like a nice sweet tobacco to me, not super sweet. A little bit of coffee running around there, and maybe a little cedar as well. It's just kind of a mild to medium body, so those flavors aren't very potent, and they kind of meld together in the finish, and it's still not very long. The construction was fine. I touched it up maybe one time in this final third, so it's a decent cigar. I mentioned it. It's kind of forgettable though. If you get to talking, you a lot going on, you'll really kind of forget about the cigar. I mean, if it's just you, it's an after lunch or afternoon cigar, I think this would be great. There's not a lot of flavor changes, or any at all for that matter, but it does have enough flavor to it that it can keep you interested if you ain't got a lot going on. But overall, excuse me, I was expecting more out of it. It just never really gave me that wow factor, but lots of smoke, very ample, very thick. The flavors are decent. They're just not very potent. I would give it a solid 6.5. I enjoyed it. I'd smoke it again, but not at the end of the day, and only if the price is right. But yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, I'd agree. This is a good after lunch type of cigar. To me, this cigar is that personification of a good, like, task cigar. I would probably smoke this if I really wanted a cigar but I had some work to do or something. I'd smoke this with that, because the flavors are there, but they don't really warrant your attention in the way that a lot of other cigars do. If I saw this in a shop, I'd go a little bit lower. I'd probably pay $6 for it, but anything more than that, I probably wouldn't pay. So yeah, I'd go a little bit lower. I'd give it a 6. If you see it for $6, I'd pay $6. But anything more than that, it's just not really worth it for me. The flavors weren't dynamic enough, and that's about it. Mine.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of a utility task cigar again. There's nothing strong, there's nothing complex, there's nothing that really holds your attention about this cigar. That said, it is kind of, if you're doing something else and you want to smoke a cigar, I think there's some enjoyment to it, and you can still smoke this whole cigar and then get up and drive across town or go do something, and you're not going to have a buzz, you're not going to feel overwhelmed. So I guess there's something to that about it, but it would certainly have to be the right price for me as well. There's no way, like Wyatt said, I don't think I'd pay more than $6 for one of these, probably 5. But overall, I'd agree with the 6.5 rating. Just real average.
Yeah. To note, I only paid $2 a stick. I got a 5-pack of them for an awesome deal.
Well, in that case, it's a deal.
Yeah. But I don't think, normally I don't think that's what you pick them up for. I just might have swooped under the radar. But yeah, like I said, yeah, decent stick. But in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. But until next time, smoke them if you got them.